Hello everyone, a warm welcome to all of you in the today's daily current affairs session on EduTap, and I hope that all of you are healthy and preparing well for upcoming exams. And in the today's session, we are going to discuss the top PIB news from the month of January 2022. And today, the topic of the discussion is Handbook on the Global Good Practices for Cooperatives. So before starting the session, if you are new to your YouTube channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates of the courses and videos offered by us. And you can also join our Telegram channel to get the access to the PDF of these sessions. To join the Telegram channel, kindly click on the link given in the description below. Let's move on to the session. Let's get started. And here you can see that ICAAP and NCDC have jointly released a handbook on the global good practices for cooperatives. So recently this handbook has been released, and today we are going to discuss every important part about this particular handbook. And here you can see that the National Cooperative Developmental Corporation, that is NCDC, and along with the International Cooperative Alliance have released the handbook on the global good practices, and this particular handbook has been titled as Sahakar Pragya Good Practices for the Cooperatives. And when we talk about this particular handbook, my dear learners, it is a collection, it is a compendium of all the good practices which are being adopted and executed by the best performing cooperatives abroad as well as in India. And when we talk about this particular handbook, this handbook has been developed on the basis of a brainstorming session on the International Good Practices platform for cooperatives. And this session was being conducted by LINAC of this NCDC. And this particular handbook has also been developed by this particular organization only. So when we talk about the releasing body, this particular book was being released by NCDC along with International Cooperative Alliance. And when we talk about the organization which is behind developing this particular handbook, then it was LINAC, that is Lakshman Rao Inamdar National Academy for Cooperative Research and Development. So now let's move on to the handbook and let's see that what exactly are the important features of this particular handbook. And here you can see that this Sahakar Pragya Good Practices for Cooperatives, it is a collection of all the guidelines, the resources, the methodologies which are being used and adopted by the best performing cooperatives in India as well as abroad. And that's how it is really going to be served as an action plan that can help these entities to achieve the goal of self-reliance, and that's how it is also going to impact the cooperative sector in India as well as abroad. Okay, and some of these best practices were from the milk credit banking cooperatives as in the handbook which has been mentioned. Now, when we come to some other important additional information, then my dear learners, in order to share wide experiences and the ideas for the transmitting Indian good practices of the cooperatives, LINAC, NCDC and the ICAAP have come together to set up a platform. And to set up this particular platform, they have signed an agreement to assimilate and develop further the core strengths and the institutional objectives of the respective parties. Okay, and now my dear learners, I want to add one more point, that why exactly we are covering all of this. See, I want to tell you that in India there are more than 8 lakhs. There are more than 8 lakhs cooperative societies which are majorly in the agriculture and allied sector, in the banking sector. And this cooperative movement in India regained the focus when the union government in last year has created a separate Ministry of Cooperation. And I want to tell you that apart from that, there was also a National Cooperative Conference which was being conducted in New Delhi last year, whose chief guest was the Union Minister of Home Affairs as well as the Minister of Cooperation, that is Shri Amit Shah. So that's how you can see that what exactly is the impact and why these particular steps have been taken. Okay, so that was all from this particular handbook, and here there is a question, a practice question which is based on the same, that is the handbook on the global good practices for the cooperatives. And here what exactly the demand of the question? It is that you are required to identify the correct statement in relation with this handbook, and these particular statements have been mentioned here. Okay, so what you are required to do, you are required to analyze these statements as per our today's discussion, and then you are going to tell me in the comment section below that what exactly is the right answer. You are required to identify the correct statements. And my dear learners, I want to tell you that the right answer for this particular question is option E, that is all of the above, as all these statements which are mentioned here are correct. Okay, now moving towards the next practice question, which is here on your screen. And here you can see that the National Center for Good Governance, Government of India and Dash have signed an MOU. See, recently an MOU was being signed to bring out better and good governance mechanisms into practice, and for that the National Center for Good Governance, Government of India and one more organization have signed an MOU for this particular objective. And here you are required to identify just the name of that particular organization, whether it was Niti Aayog, the National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, the Small Industries Development Bank of India, Khadi and Village Industries Commission, or it was NABARD. So when we talk about the right answer for this particular question, the right answer is option B, that is National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, which is based in Hyderabad. Okay. So that must be clear to all of you. Now why we are covering this? Because here you can see from the headline from the PIB itself that there was a signing of MOU between the National Center of Good Governance and the National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj along with the Government of India. And what exactly was the aim? The aim was to focus on the different collaborative activities in order to draw the strength of these two national institutions. These two national institutions means this NCDC and the National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, in order to bring out better good governance mechanism across all the programs and schemes. And that's how it is going to bring out inclusive good governance. It is going to improve the local institutions and it is going to impact those local institutions as well. So that was the reason that this particular MOU was being signed, and I really believe that this particular question is now very much clear to all of you. And now let's move on to the next question, which is here on your screen. See, recently there was a meet which was being organized by India along with one of the countries on sustaining food production under environmental stress. Okay, so that was basically the theme of that particular meet, and here you are required to identify the name of the country with which this particular meet was being organized by India, whether it was USA, Japan, United Kingdom, China or Australia. And I want to add one more point, that this particular meet was being, during this particular meet, the two parties also discussed on collaboration on the food security and zero hunger, and you can also connect this particular part with the SDG goal number 2, which is also related to zero hunger. Okay, and when we talk about the right answer for this particular question, then the right answer for this question is option C, that is United Kingdom. And here you can see that recently Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh has addressed the India-UK meet on sustaining food production and under environmental stress, and both of them called for a closer collaboration for mutual concerns and in order to achieve the goals of food security and zero hunger. And when we talk about the organizing bodies, the body which was responsible for organizing this particular meet, then it was the National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute, which is located in Mohali, and the University of Birmingham, United Kingdom. So that was all from this particular meet that you are required to remember from the exam point of view. And here please remember that with the United Kingdom, India has held this particular meet on sustaining food production under environment stress, and you can also relate this with the sustainable development goal number 2. See, examiner can also ask the question on that particular dimension as well, that this particular food security and zero hunger is related to which one of the following sustainable development goals, and if you know about that, then you will be able to answer the question very successfully. Now that let's move on to the googly question, and today the googly question is being based on the consumer protection jurisdiction of the district commission, the state commission and the national commission rules 2021, and these rules were being recently notified by the government of India, and today's question is being based on this particular rules only, and here you are required to identify the correct statement in relation with these particular rules. So if you have watched my previous session, a dedicated session in which I have discussed these rules in the detailed manner, then it is going to be a cakewalk for all of you. So do answer this question in the comment section below. And now when we talk about the homework question from the previous session, it was about the open data week. See, recently the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs under the Smart Cities Mission have launched this Open Data Week, and when we talk about the duration of this particular week, then this week will be celebrated and organized from 17th to 21st of January 2022, which was the question as a homework question. And now let's move on to the homework question from the today's session. And today the homework question is, which one of the following ministries has recently signed an MOU with Indira Gandhi Open University to link vocational education and training with the higher education? See, recently one of the Indian ministries has signed an MOU, okay, with IGNOU. With this particular university, this particular MOU was being signed by the Indian ministry. And why this was signed? In order to link the vocational education as well as training with the higher education. And here you are required to just find out the name of the ministry. Okay, so there is some mistake here. The remaining options are correctly marked here. Okay, these options are not correct as per the question, and the right answer to this question is Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So that was a fault from my part, sorry for that. And the right answer for this particular question is Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And now what exactly will be the homework question for you? You are going to tell me that how this particular Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship with this particular MOU is going to impact this vocational education and training with the higher education. So do answer that question in the comment section below. And don't worry about it, I am going to correct this in the PDFs as well. And when we talk about the star performers from our previous session, then today I am having a short list, that is Mintu Kumar, Naveen and Yukti. All these are the star performers, and if you also want your name to be mentioned here, do answer the homework question and googly question in the comment section below. So my dear learners, that was all from the today's session. I believe that today's session was useful and fruitful to all of you. And if you have any queries, kindly drop us a mail at hello@edutap.co.in, and you can also call us at 814-620-7241. So thank you for joining us. Wish you all happy learning.